Hi, readers. Today we're going to be reading Chapter 2 in The Mouse and the Motorcycle. Chapter 2 is called The Motorcycle, so I'm thinking that the motorcycle is going to be introduced in this chapter. Except for one terrifying moment when the boy had poked his finger through the mouse hole, a hungry young mouse named Ralph eagerly watched everything that went on in room 215. At first, he was disappointed at the size of the boy who was to occupy the room. A little child, preferably 2 or even 3 children, would have been better. Little messy children were always considerate about leaving crumbs on the carpet. Oh well, at least these people did not have a dog. If there was one thing Ralph disliked, it was a snoopy dog. Next, Ralph felt hopeful. Medium-sized boys could almost always be counted on to leave sticky candy bar wrappers on the floor, or a bag of peanuts on the bedside table, where Ralph could reach them by climbing up the telephone cord. With a boy this size, the food, though not amped to be plentiful, was almost sure to be good of quality. So I think he's saying that even though maybe the boy's not going to eat a ton of food, the food is going to be really good quality. It's going to be really good food like candy bars and peanuts. The third emotion felt by Ralph was joy. When the boy laid the apple core by the telephone, this was followed by despair when the mother dropped the core into the metal wastebasket. Oh no, Ralph knew that anything at the bottom of a metal wastebasket was lost to a mouse forever. A mouse lives not by crumbs alone. So Ralph experienced another emotion. This time, food was not the cause of it. Ralph was eager. He was excited and curious and impatient all at once. The emotion was so strong that it made him forget all about his empty stomach. I'm wondering what's going on. It was caused by those little cars, especially that motorcycle and the sounds the boy made. That sound seemed to satisfy something within Ralph, as if he had been waiting his whole life to hear it. Went the boy. To the mouse, the sound spoke of highways, speed, of distance and danger, and whiskers blown back by the wind. The instant the family left the room to go to dinner, Ralph scurried out of his mouse hole and across the threadbare carpet, up to the telephone cord, which came out of the hole in the floor beside the bedside table. Ralph, scolded his mother from the mouse hole. You stay away from that telephone cord. Ralph's mother was a great worrier. She worried because their hotel was old and it was run down, and because so many rooms were often empty with no careless guest to leave crumbs behind for a mouse. She worried about the rumor that their hotel was to be torn down, and with the new highway coming through. She worried about her children finding aspirin tablets. Ralph's father had tried to carry an aspirin tablet in his cheek pouch. Aspirin's like medicine. So he was carrying that in his cheek, and the aspirin dissolved. And with unexpected suddenness, Ralph's father had been poisoned. Oh no. Since then, no member of the family would even think of touching an aspirin tablet. But this did not prevent Ralph's mother from worrying. Most of all, Ralph's mother worried about Ralph. She worried because he was a reckless mouse who stayed out late in the daytime when he should have been home safe in bed. She worried when Ralph climbed the curtain to sit on the windowsill, to watch the chipmunk in the pine tree outside and the cars in the parking lot below. She worried because Ralph wanted to go exploring down the hall instead of traveling under the floorboards like a sensible mouse. Heaven only knew what dangers he might meet in the hall. Maids, bellboys, perhaps even cats, or what was worse, vacuum cleaners. Ralph's mother had a horror of vacuum cleaners. If I was a mouse, I think I would not want to be near a vacuum cleaner as well. Ralph, who was used to his mother's worries, got a good running start and was already halfway up the telephone cord. "Remember your Uncle Victor," his mother called out after him. Ralph seemed not to hear. He climbed the cord up to the telephone, jumped down, and ran around to a row of cars. There it was at the end, the motorcycle. Ralph stared at it, and then he walked over and kicked the tire. Close up, the motorcycle looked even better than he had expected. It was new, it was shiny, and it had a good set of tires. Ralph walked all the way around it, examining the pair of mufflers and the engine and hand clutch. It even had a little license plate, so it would be legal to ride it. "Boy," said Ralph to himself, his whispers quivering with excitement. Okay, I want to show you the picture of Ralph with the motorcycle. Look at Ralph's excitement. He has his hand up to his mouth. His shoulders are up. He looks so happy, like he's bursting with excitement, and he just wants to say something about their motorcycle. Boy, oh boy. Feeling that this was an important moment in his life, he took hold of the handle grips. They felt good and solid beneath his paws. Yes, this motorcycle was a good machine, all right. He could tell by the feel. Ralph threw a leg over the motorcycle and sat jauntily on the plastic seat. He even bounced up and down. The seat was curved just right to fit a mouse. But how to start the motorcycle? Ralph did not know. And even if he did know how to start it, he could not do much riding up here on the bedside table. He considered pushing the motorcycle off onto the floor. But he did not want to risk damaging such a valuable machine. Ralph bounced up and down on the seat a couple more times and looked around for some way to start the motorcycle. He pulled at a lever or two, but nothing happened. Then a terrible thought spoiled his pleasure. It spoiled his pleasure, so it ruined it. I wonder what he thought of to ruin his happiness. Uh-oh. This was only a toy. It would not run at all. Ralph, who had watched many children in room 215, had picked up a lot of information about toys. He had seen a boy from Cedar Rapids throw his model airplane on the floor because he could not make his plastic parts fit properly. A little girl had burst into tears and run sobbing to her mother when her doll's arm had come out of its socket. And then there was that nice boy, the potato chip nibbler, who stomped his feet because the batteries kept falling out of his car. But this toy could not be like those other toys he had seen. It had looked too perfect with its wire spokes and its wheels and its pair of shiny exhaust pipes. It would not be right if it did not run. It would not be fair. A motorcycle that looked as real as this one had to run. The secret of making it run must be perfectly simple. If only Ralph had someone to show him what it was. Ralph was not satisfied just sitting on the motorcycle. Ralph craved action. After all, what was a motorcycle for if it wasn't action? Who needed motorcycle riding lessons? Not Ralph. He tried pushing himself along with his feet. This was not nearly fast enough, but it was better than nothing. He moved his feet faster along the tabletop, and then he lifted them up while he coasted. Feeling braver, he went He bent below over the handlebars and worked his feet still faster towards the edge of the bedside table. When he worked up a little speed, he would coast around the corner. He grabbed his feet on the tabletop to gain some momentum. In a split second, he would steer to the left. At that moment, the bell on his telephone rang, half a ring, so close that it seemed to pierce the middle of Ralph's bones. It rang, that half ring, as if a girl at the switchboard realized she had rung the wrong room and jerked out the cord before the ring was finished. That half ring was enough. It shattered Ralph's nerves and terrified him, so that he forgot all about steering. Okay, again, I just want to take a moment to show you the picture of what is happening with Ralph. So look at that. So that telephone ring caused Ralph to fall off of the motorcycle. And what does it look like he's falling into? To me, it's looking like the trash basket, because they had mentioned that earlier in the story about putting the apple cord there. So let's read this last page. One second, my friends. I have to find where we were. Okay, here we go. Okay, so he forgot all about steering. It jumbled his thoughts until he forgot to drag his heels for the brakes. He was so terrified, he let go of the hand grips. The momentum of the motorcycle carried him forward over the edge of the table. Down, down, through space, tumbled Ralph with the motorcycle. He tried to straighten out, to turn the fall into a leap, but the motorcycle got in his way. He grabbed in vain at the air with both paws. So I'm just visualizing Ralph. We saw the picture of him falling, but I'm visualizing now, like trying to grab in the air, trying to grab onto anything to make his fall better. There was nothing to clutch, nothing to save him, only the empty air. For a fleeting instant, he thought of his poor Uncle Victor. Remember his mom said, think about Uncle Victor. That was the instant the motorcycle landed with a crash in the metal wastebasket, and Ralph fell in a heap beside the motorcycle and lay still. And my friends, that is the end of the chapter. So we're left with a cliffhanger. I'm dying to read chapter 3 and find out what's going to happen to Ralph. What's going to happen to the motorcycle? Is he okay? Is the motorcycle okay? Will he ever get to ride it? What questions do you have about the next chapter? Happy reading, my friends.